feel it. And I think we learn about ourselves through especially any kind of adversity. You know, look, I'm coming off of being evacuated from the fires, which was, for me, not that difficult. You know, I'm not poor. I got a hotel. I brought my family to the hotel. We got safe, got my dog to the podcast studio, and everybody was all right. You know, but for those firefighters, I mean, 12-hour shifts battling the blaze for people who lost their homes. Some of them tried to save it. There was a story about a guy in Malibu that climbed on top of his roof with a hose and tried to fight off the fire, and he got severe burns, and he's in the hospital. And I mean, it's raining ash and these chunks of fucking fire on people, these embers. They're falling from the sky, and this guy's trying to save his house. I mean, that guy literally went through the fires. He'll be a different person after this.
No question. We've been in something of a reality drought. The number of people who have very little relationship to reality. I mean, you know, I used to live in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and you'd come in from Boston, and there would be the sign that said "fresh killed chicken." Like no bones about it, man. Fresh killed chicken. But like chicken McNuggets, nobody quite knows what part of the chicken is a McNugget, right? It's just some abstraction that comes to you. And so I think we've gotten very divorced. There are all of these layers of indirection between us and the world. And when a fire happens, it's so overwhelming. We were just choking on the SF smoke in the Bay Area. It gets real after having been unreal for a very long time.
Yeah. It's unavoidable. It makes you buck up. Like, you got to get out of there. Like, we got evacuated Thursday at 2:30 in the morning. We were looking up. We were like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't give a shit what you leave behind. Just go. Keep your body and go. Everything else, it's either replaceable or you don't really need it that much anyway. Just fucking get out of there. And when you see that fire raging over those hills and helicopters are dropping water on it, and then another house explodes because the gas line gets hit, it's just I saw that. You see that, you go, oh, there's not enough people in the world to save you. There's not enough fucking firefighters or cops. There's too many houses. There's too many people, and a bunch of these houses are going to go. You got to get the fuck out of there. And but there's a certain. I was with a bunch of my friends from my neighborhood, and my friend Tom Segura and his wife. We all stayed at the same hotel.
Right.
And there was like a tangible sense of community.
Well, I love this point. Let's imagine you go for a wedding and they house you with your third cousins, people you barely know. If you're lucky enough that the sewage system breaks and like stuff is leaking out of the ceiling and you guys all have to do heroic, crazy stuff to save the house, you're going to be closer to your third cousin than you are, to your uncle.
Right.
And this is this very strange feature of the world that kind of a random arrival of diversity is very often what bonds you to some particular human being. And if you avoid adversity in groups your whole life, you probably don't realize that you're never fully activated as a human being. Or particularly, if men, I think, don't form groups that in some sense fight or battle or contest together. So there's this very weird fact that apparently humans are the only species that organize contests in teams. This is an intrinsic feature of being human.
Contests.
Yeah.
Do other animals have any contests?
Well,
just if they spar.
Like chimps, will have these incredible raiding parties. Very methodical, and they'll attack somebody else. But I don't think that they practice it. It's like, okay, you're red team chimp and you're blue team chimp.
Well, we're the only ones that do stuff like that can communicate, right? Like dolphins can communicate, but they don't do stuff like that.
Right, or you have individual sparring. Like you'll have two bears learning to play with each other because it's safer to play with your brother in childhood than it is to just suddenly show up against some big-ass bear and have to compete for female.